Shora, welcome to Strange Seeds again. Um, wait, I think actually I messed up my mic, didn't I? Nope. Okay. Hi, Shara. Hopefully, things are sound good to the people there in the studio. Let's get a hi from everybody then. Landris,
Hello.
Kenneth,
Hey.
Mashavan,
Hi there.
Toma,
Hello, everyone.
and Celia.
Hello.
Okie doke. Let's see here. If you can hear us in the chat, please let us know. Um, I think everything should be going through. You can tell how professional I am by how much I have it completely together at the beginning of the session. By how okie doke. Okay, I think we're good. Okie doke. So welcome to session 10 of Strange Seeds. It's been a fun and strange journey so far, and it will continue into the next year. Our big announcement is that we are moving permanently to Sundays instead of Saturdays. So we will be the first Sunday. We will be shooting for the first Sunday of every month at this time, 1 p.m. Pacific to 4 p.m. Pacific. Um, and that means that our next session will be on January 2nd, the Sunday, on at 1 p.m., and we will continue from there. Things seem to be going pretty good in this game, so I see no reason we won't be continuing for a while. So, go ahead and see first. Oh, we've got a new person in the chat. Cornelia Red, hello. Thank you for joining us in this. And so, just want to talk about the fact that we will continue to do this on for Sundays. I am still continuing to do the Tuesday walkthroughs, which is most Tuesday evenings, where I walk through and give commentary on usually a Myst game and try to relate it to role playing. We're in the middle of Revelation right now, and so we'll be getting into Haven this next one. The Thursday ones are a little less stable than these, so sometimes I miss a Tuesday ones. But we continue to try to see what we can do there, and maybe do some more. We'll see. Um, if you have not noticed, there is information going out this month from Cyan on their Twitter. It's called Lexember, which is a combination of lexicon and December. It's a tradition in the constructed language communities where throughout December everybody creates a new word per day and for their language or one of their languages, and they share it with the community. So check on the Cyan Twitter and you'll be seeing brand new Denis words that people have not seen before, or at least have not gotten the definitions for before. Also, keep an ear out for there will be more lore lectures this month. Keep your ear out for the announcement on that. Also, Faro, if I know that your wife continues in her creative endeavors, so go ahead and let us know what she's up to.
So first, this art is also done by her, a wolf running through a winter forest. She recently wrote and published a children's board book. It is technically available, but it is an Easter story. So you can find it at her Etsy shop, Ellipsis Dreams. And it is called Bunster. Very cute. And that is it. Thank you.
Sounds great. Okie doke. So we're gonna start off with actually, we'll start off that with a little bit of cleanup from before. We had gone through our significant milestone last month, some upgrades with for people's characters. We didn't get a chance to do Celia's character, so we're going to take a quick aside to do that. So I know that Kath, you said that Sia's character has been cross-training with the cartographers,
Mhm.
as some obligatory cross-training through the surveyors, and you were thinking about possibly either filling in your last journey aspect or possibly a stunt.
Mhm.
So what's your kind of thoughts behind the whole process at this point?
Well, I think what happened is that she had started out with the cross training as part of a regular assignment.
Hmm.
Oh, the surveyors have to cross train every so often and things that are useful. And probably part of it too was to cover the fact that, hey, if we're supposed to have a cartography intern, we should be able to turn out good looking maps.
Hmm.
But I think she's found that she really has a talent for it and liking it. So I would love to be able to put a stunt into works that reflects that not only does she have her skills for surveying, like I have the mental map stunt, which already focuses on her surveying ability. That's the +2 to navigation rolls with surveying to retrace a path we've taken before.
Hmm.
Now, coupling the fact that she's experienced in finding her way around places with that she's mapping, I really want a stunt that will help us out in the future if we need to make maps or make routes of places in order to explain it to someone else. I mean, it seems like as a group we're getting split up somewhat often, right? So we're gonna have to leave messages for others. Hey, I went that way. So
Okay.
I think I'm thinking some kind of stunt that would really benefit that for us.
What's your thought? What's everybody's thoughts on that? What sort of thing, based around those ideas, might be useful for the group in general? What sort of effects of having a map or having some good cartography around places that you've been would be useful for the group?
It would improve everyone's notice in a way, right?
Yeah.
Oh, like if we
It,
have hazards and locations recorded, then we're less likely to.
And then also your brain doesn't have to focus on how did I get from here to here again? You have a map.
right.
And then
I can just
you have the opportunity to be looking around at, the trees or whatever, because now
Yeah.
you're not worried about getting lost.
yeah. Every time I write a new linking book when we're somewhere, I can just point it where it is on the map instead of having to take somebody else there.
Makes sense.
Y'all can know where we are.
So how would we translate that into a stunt, which is specifically a mechanical? It has a specific mechanical effect. Usually, there's either a trigger or a conditional and then an effect. Um, would it be probably maybe like some effect that she can trigger once per session, or she can trigger with a fate point?
Yeah.
Just-
Actually, looking at my stunt, again, that's a +2 on navigational rolls to figure out a path we've taken before.
Hmm.
That applies only to me.
Hmm.
What if my stunt for cartography lets Celia draw a map and then share that stunt to others? Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
use a
share the
fate,
navigation stunt.
right, use a
Cool.
fate point to make a map that let others have a free invocation
Yeah.
yeah.
to do
Yeah.
something similar for them.
Yeah, I like the fate point as well because sometimes we're in more than one age during a
Yeah.
session,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and sometimes it's more important that we.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly how I'd word that because it'll grant to you guys. So it would just be spend fate point
Uh,
to have a map to grant other people.
hmm
Yeah.
Now, let's see here. Do, 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 do. Who would be spending the fate point? Would Celia be spending the fate point to create the map, or would the
Yeah.
people who are using the map be spending the fate point to create the opportunity to utilize the map?
Mm. See, I was
Excellent
thinking
question.
the map has to exist before they can use it.
Hmm.
So that's gonna need me to have spent time to make a map first.
Okie doke.
So I feel like once I've spent the fate point to make the map, then This is almost a group stunt, and we haven't kind of dealt with those before, have we?
Mm-mm.
Because my logic is suddenly is, and tell me if I'm crazy here. I spend the fate point to make the map the first time, which gives everyone a +1, or everyone 1 free invoke to use it, right? But once the map of X age exists, then what if everybody else after their first free, like I create the map and then the map becomes a new item.
Mhm.
The item then exists, everyone else gets 1 free invoke, but if you want to invoke it a second time, you have to spend your own fate point to use it again. That way
Yeah.
it's not just continually bouncing off mine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it's a persistent aspect, then
Yeah.
that's kind of built into how the new invocations of it must require a fate point. Yeah.
Right.
I like that, because then it's like, if you want to look at the map once, it's done. But if you want to like monopolize map time, then you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And there could even be some logic to it where when we were first get to see the map, maybe Celia points like, oh, I just made this map. We're right here on it. But in the future, you don't really know where on the map you are. So you need to take some time to
Right.
figure that out first. That's maybe what you're paying for.
That sounds good. Let's try that out. Let's see how that works.
Okay, that's gonna be interesting to write up, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it'll be an experiment in motion.
Yeah.
We'll see how it works, and if it seems like a little too powerful, we'll tone it down. If it feels like it's not being useful enough, we'll tone it up.
Okay.
Okie doke. Sounds good.
Also, it means that we're not like immediately linking into a brand new age and getting to have a map. It reflects that we have
Right.
to actually put time into it.
Exactly. Okay, no, that sounds
So
great.
And
the
that I
last
might
thing you
have to
need,
go back and edit it over time, right? Like if
Right.
I map the first part of the sage and then we go farther later, it might be possible, like in the future, that we have to almost get rid of that map and make a new map.
Yeah.
With the new
Yeah.
parts or add to it, and then maybe I have to spend a fate point to keep improving it.
Sort of a recharge of it.
If an important aspect of the age gets, say, blown up.
Yeah. I
Might
don't know
have
why
to
you
edit
would imagine that.
Yeah.
Why might that happen?
We'll see how close Laundress gets to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the last thing you need for this stunt is a name, and I would humbly suggest Trailblazer.
Bless
Oh,
you,
nice.
because I just
Yeah.
nicknamed it map.
I like that. That's a great name. Thank you.
That's way better. You're the best.
Yay.
Sounds like the chat agrees that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Cool.
So good. We've got consensus all around. Uh-huh. Okay, so now we're going to start moving towards the action queue. If you could go ahead and give us a recap.
You betcha. Okay, so we'll fire through this. We went back to Kellen. Everybody went back there, and we heard loud arguing, and the villagers seemed to have squared off against each other. And the idea was that some people had already left. The thief had taken a bunch of people to Devlin's new age, safe age. But a bunch of people didn't want to go, and they were really upset. And Landris was trying to convince them that it could be dangerous to stay, and they weren't going to believe us without someone going and inspecting the mountain, which was kind of what we wanted to do in the first place. So we're like, oh yeah, we'll check it out and make sure the mountain's not going to explode, and also like look for stuff. So we went back. Like there had been a lot of paper, and the area clearly, like inside the mountain, had been used as like a bookbinding facility. And it also was clear that paper had been set alight purposely, like on purpose, and that's what kind of caused the explosion. There was no device, there was no incendiary object. It was just a lot of paper and a lot of stuff. Tomei did find an unburned journal, which had the same hand as the journal that we found on the body. We assume it's the same person who wrote it, and there were references to dangerous cataclysm and the prophetess. And the prophetess seems to be a person who is currently alive and in existence, not a historical figure. So that was interesting. Regardless, it didn't look like there'd been any tampering with the age written-wise or a volcano. So they went back, told the villagers, and Landris was trying again to impress upon them about, how dangerous things were, and, that their home was in danger. And so some people took that as being, well, then we need to defend our home. Well, some villagers left. The rest decided that they're going to stay and defend their home because that's the right thing to do. So we couldn't really do anything more about that. We just sort of had to leave it. They only trust us so much. And plus we have, keys to find and enslaved villagers to rescue and all that. So everyone's like, okay, we'll head to Heller, which was a desert age. And of course it was daytime, so it's hot as blazes. And they linked through, and of course it's lots of sand dunes, but they were like really cool marker rocks and stuff. And there seemed to be like markers on further dunes, and we oriented ourselves by using the journal and grade 0 and moved in a direction of a marker. And it led to a little house thing full of oil and water and grain and empty things. And Rajavan started scanning all the pots to try to find the key. And then we found a secret passageway to like the real location. And as much as there were like kitchens and beds and a chapel and stuff, there was like a room of horrors as well, where it was clear that many people had been enslaved and moved out recently, to which Toma took great offense. And long story short, we found the key. Toma was like, we're not leaving this place, available for more slavers, and she decided to blow it up. So we helped with that, and Landris was keen on making sure everyone got out alive. So he was holding the book over the, hole in the ground that was about to becoming a tornado of fire. And Toma leaped for the book and limped through weird and got injured. And Landris was a little late, and he got severely burned, and he arrived on fire. And Mashavan cleverly realized that there's water nearby and shoved him into the jellyfish river very helpfully. And then Landris kind of up to the ocean. So
Well, as far as y'all are aware, he did.
we have some injured people. We have somebody floating around in the ocean who hopefully is still conscious. And we've managed to burn our clubhouse already. So, we're off to a great start.
I
Only
need the
3 more
chat
keys
to
to go,
know.
guys. This is
I need
gonna
the
be
chat
great.
to know that as someone who is coming into this, having also missed the last session, out of character, I am man coming in with pizza to a room on fire gif. Like that's
Yep.
me on getting this recap earlier.
Tim's like, take this pizza with me. See it.
Yeah, I think your character chose a good session not to be around.
At least
At least
much
one
better
of
for
us
your
is still in
health.
good shape. Yeah.
Hey, I remember how much those jellyfish hurt. Those jellyfish hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
Okay, doke. Well, let's assume that you've managed to fish poor Laundress out of the sea, and have gotten them back, to the main part of your rebel base there proper, and we can go from there. So Laundress, there's been some basic medical, stuff done, so you're not actively bleeding or anything like that.
I don't think bleeding was ever the concern.
Well, yeah, but
No
you are
longer
not
actively on
actively
fire.
in crisis. Yeah,
I'm no longer on fire. I'm not. Yeah.
you're not on fire. They
I'm-
pulled
yeah.
off all the jellyfish,
Oh,
and treated the jellyfish wounds, that sort of thing.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
hey.
time, at least you have your chef with you and your medic. Last time you didn't
Yeah.
have your medic.
Yep.
Okay. And then while the recovery and stuff like that, let's actually have Celia like link in the middle of this, and we can start from there.
So are they like building a raft? Like they're in the middle of the recovery. Like, are they building like a raft? How did this happen?
Well, I
Yeah,
figure mostly they would have just they've got you some, someone probably may have just swum out and then brought you in. So I figured you'd be in the area, in the
Okay.
the main area, while I think it's Kenneth who has the medical support, right? Kenneth is been tending to your wounds and peeling off
Okay.
the odd jellyfish.
Distinct smell of burning hair in the
Yeah, it's like
So-
in the air.
So Celia just links into the little like cavern area and nobody's around. Just like,
Yeah.
We'd said everybody dragged in, like we dragged you in.
oh, okay.
yeah,
Because that's the comfy place, and that's
There
where
we go.
all the books are and stuff.
But,
so we've
you
got
know,
you there. We're taking
she
But
care of
is
consider the
met with
concept that it's funnier
Hmm?
that Celia links in while you guys are pulling him in. And so Celia's like, but where is everybody? And then you come in.
Okay, there you go.
after the land
I'm down with that.
comedy.
And Celia's just sitting there with a bag and some extra maps and like surveying equipment and cartography
Yeah.
equipment, and comes in with a bag looking bright and perky and goes, "Hey
Yeah,
guys,
and it's
have-
probably not outside the realm of possibility for Landris to just be unconscious with everybody. Like he got
Probably.
exploded. He got shoved out to the ocean. There's it's burns with salt water and then jellyfish out there. Yeah, he probably passed out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So they're just stretcher slowly coming in. Like whatever Mishavan could make out of the local like reeds and stuff.
Oh, you probably have a really awesome stretcher then.
Yeah.
yeah.
Very comfy. Not that
Mhm.
not that you notice, but it's very comfy.
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
He
strong.
wakes up and Mashavan's like, just so you know, this is a really comfortable structure.
Yeah. I did a really good job on this one.
Yes.
You're welcome for being
Hopefully-
pushed out to sea.
Yes.
hopefully it can be reused."
So,
Oh,
so wait. So as they're picking off the jellyfish, is Mishavan harvesting more for the power system?
Definitely.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
again, if-
This is a good sample.
right.
They all being stuck in a bucket.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That was
Kind
the
of,
other
yeah.
thing. Mashavan
Yeah.
made power out of the jellyfish.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Remember all
Yeah, you didn't tell me
everybody's
that.
successful things.
Yeah, I have the proof of concept of a jellyfish
Electrical
powered power
system.
system. Yeah.
That's
Somehow.
a useful use for the stupid bastards.
Well,
I
see-
imagine
see,
it's kind of some of
because-
the things you see in Adana with with the electrical stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, see, and because of their anatomy, it's actually an 8-pronged outlet. So you've got to shove the whole jellyfish in.
Gotta plug a jellyfish in. Okay. So let's go ahead and start. Celia links in. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and then it's like, okay, yeah, and then the chaos comes in as they pull in Laundress, and Kent's trying to apply some sort of medical things, and it smells it does smell like some it smells like burning in the area because you've still got a little bit of smoke left over from the fire, and there we are, and that's where we start.
And it's totally grousing about being saltwater wet.
Right. I mean, it smells like burning and ocean somehow.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Leah,
what happened here? Celia puts her bags down and runs over.
This is like a little too meta, but I think someone needs to say, "Thank God you've returned, Celia. We need your help." Like desperately, really, we need your help.
Celia,
but
Celia,
also,
you're
let's
here.
feed
Quick,
some
hold
butterflies,
this.
Yeah, I like that. Drops bag, picks up whatever is handed.
Here, hold this. Hold it up high.
What's happening? What happened to? Is that Lamnus? What did he do? What did you guys do? Why does it smell?
Technically,
Bad.
it's not what happened here so much as what happened on Heller.
It was, as explosions go, it was quite impressive.
What exploded?
I
The
look at
good
Fome.
news is that we might have put a dent in the slave trade a little bit. We might have, we blew some stuff up. So that's the good news. We blew stuff up that wasn't us, in addition to blowing up some parts of
Letters.
ourselves.
A bit of luck.
Well, for the record, Tome also has a moderate consequence. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but
Yeah.
I think she's probably also looking a little scorched.
Yeah,
Oh.
she's a little worse for the wear.
And she had a leg injury from the trying to get the air vent open.
Oh, I have multiple injuries. Okay.
But from what I recall, I didn't write it down. I was kind of hoping someone else
You
could.
just got a little limp.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure you were really bent on succeeding that one, and we kept failing our rolls.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You took
Yeah.
pretty sure
succeed
there
with
was
a
a
major
succeed
cost.
with consequence
Yeah.
in that one.
Let us explain. Wait, there is too much. Let us sum up.
Yeah.
Louis is definitely just staring at everyone and it's like,
Sorry, a lot of stuff happened on Kennelin while you're on course. Like the Relima had like an infiltration by the cult of the tree, and we had to like fight them off. And then now we're trying to beat the cult of the tree to the punch. Remember that journal we brought back? 'Cause, yeah, you were
Yeah.
there. You found the journal with Toma. So we're
Right.
now trying to chase that down because now the cult of the tree knows that we're onto them. But
okay,
we're also trying to beat the Relima because we don't like them either.
wait, why don't we like them? They've been helping us so far.
They're not really supposed to exist
Are they
anymore.
gonna like kill
we
us
just-
after? You
Oh,
know,
that's
are
true.
you-
Like secret
Are we
police
just
of
not trusting
still
anyone
secret.
who's not us? Is that
Yes.
the new plan? Okay.
That is where we have arrived. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment that Tellin rang on the D. We need to talk about the Sauer report, everybody. Heck.
Is there literally not a single NPC that has earned our trust? There might not be. Very few.
Wait, I'm like, that report
I mean,
wasn't
all-
on Mondras, was it? Like,
the report? No, I handed it in to him already.
okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that was my major milestone.
Doesn't be like that, man.
Yeah.
No, because
Just
we were
rewriting that stupid
waiting
report.
for him to get back to us was the thing. Yeah, but actually, hilariously enough, all things considered, Tellin might be the most trustworthy person we've talked to
Right.
because
We know what
he-
Tellin's agenda is, unlike
right,
everyone
and
else.
he hasn't sugarcoated anything.
Right.
He hates us, and we know he hates
Yeah.
us, as opposed to everybody else who may or may not hate us and may or may not be trying to. You know what? That
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
that
Fine.
actually makes sense.
We've come a long ways now that Talon has become the lesser of evils.
There you go. Okay, so what are you guys up to?
It's like they sent me a Christmas gift. What is with these people?
Yeah.
Thanks, Master Talon. You're the best.
Okay. Well, this is wild.
I think Mishavan has no medical skill whatsoever,
Hmm.
so he will hold the light.
Now,
Sure.
I don't want to possibly introduce other complications, but I do notice. Remember that you said the only thing that survived was the linking book, back here, and it burned up as I left, which would possibly suggest that my D is very, very broken.
Oh, I mean, someone would have to examine it, and probably that someone would be
Yeah.
Mishavan.
Hmm.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I would probably pull that off because he
Okay.
needs
Yeah,
to
we
get
better-
This
a thing
molten
around
metal.
it. Here, Mashavan. This looks like a job for you.
Uh-huh.
So
You
yeah,
know what? We
that
know what
D
your
is
specialty is.
particularly it's definitely seen the most of its life go by at this point. Yeah, exactly. A little bit of smoke.
Too bad we didn't keep that.
But it's been on fire, it's had concussive force, and then doused in
Seawater.
hot salt water, and
Yeah. Any
It's like-
waterproofing it had is just gone.
yeah,
Right. They're made to be tough, but there are limits.
there are limits, and these weren't good ones in the first place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
Right. Well,
Well, let's
then I will
Kenneth, why don't
spend
you
some
make a
time
medicine
playing
roll
with
real
that.
quick
Yeah, sure.
versus a 4.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh dear. One total.
I'll have.
Oof.
So this is not a situation where I'm going to have you suddenly push Laundress into cardiac arrest or something.
okay. So we
but
don't
you-
fail and kill him.
Yeah. But you are continuing to tend his wounds. He's not he's not critical, but he still needs more care. So
Okay.
we'll
I'm
probably be
very
doing that for a bit.
badly burnt.
Okay. So what is Toma doing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think she sort of has a moment where she's very much kind of in her own head. She was just kind of raging and burning things and exploding things, and she got hurt. But she's also feeling a little bit guilty and responsible for people getting injured, and kind of eyeing Landris from across the cave. And then I think she goes over to see if there's any assistance that she can provide. She does not have the medicine as a skill, so I don't know if there really is anything that she could do. Kind of same situation with Chauvin's in, but yeah, she feels like she has a sort of a penance to pay for having done something pretty rash.
Kenneth's going to suggest she sits down and has some water.
Yeah.
She probably
You've been
has
through a lot
concussion.
too. You know.
She might have a concussion, but I don't have time to look at her injuries right now because Laundress is a bit touch and go. So,
Yeah.
but water after desert and blowing up and potential concussion from coming through wrong and leg injury.
Yeah, that may be about all she can muster.
Easy.
So I think she will.
Easy.
I think she'll give that a shot.
Okie doke. Unless anybody has something very specific they want to do, we'll fast forward a little bit until Laundress is relatively stable and is not not an immediate concern. At least his health isn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so Laundress is resting, but seems to is stable at this point, and Tomei is sitting and stable with her her legs hurt and that sort of thing, but not in crisis. So what are you guys
He's
gonna
at
do?
least cognizant of the situation.
Yes. So what are you guys gonna do? What's up?
Well,
I'm
we still,
continuing to sleep.
I mean,
I'm
clearly
gonna
we still need to get the rest of these keys.
Yeah, I assumed that Talia got the more full briefing while this was going on, and in turn verbally briefed everybody else that, oh hey, so a thing that I did was I learned a bit more about map making, so now I can make maps of places that we've been. A long beat, followed by the important question. So how many of them can we get back to, and how many places have we totally destroyed our ability to go to? I feel like this is now an important question.
I think we've only destroyed one place.
Well,
know,
we can
just
still
one
get
map.
back to it. We still have the linking, but we
Right.
could still go back.
There's still lots of Heller that we haven't explored, but we don't need to.
Yeah. Technically,
Yeah.
technically, we haven't been prevented from going anywhere because we always come back here, and
Okay.
all of our linking books are here. So
Yeah, fortunately, he just had Laundress had copies, so he didn't. I don't think we
Yeah.
lost any parent descriptive books.
Okay.
That's true.
and
So
we
that-
always link
Yeah,
back
just so
here.
you know, you should be good. We still have a Kenneland book and things like that. But we're gonna probably need those map skills for. I'm thinking Ishna, because that one is apparently a long journey.
It's
Do the key.
possible. It is
That's
possible
possible.
we didn't accomplish all of our goals on Heller. We got the key, but in terms of figuring out the
Well,
human trafficking routes, we don't know where the people have been taken. Hopefully, we've thrown a wrench into their plan, into the cult's plans, but we still don't know if they're people who are going to try to help save, like where we would find them.
Okay,
That's
so you
sad.
blew up
So
the trafficking facility so that they couldn't.
They
Keep
can't use it
going.
again, but because there was no place, like we saw lots of footprints, but there was no exit.
Okay.
So we assumed they linked somewhere to move all those people, and obviously they were linked in because they didn't shove them all down that little hole. So, but we don't know where, of course, they linked them.
So the other thing that's right important about Ishna, by the way,
Okay.
is it's such a long distance, but it's really only like 2 miles. So it's not so
not so bad.
long. Yeah. So it's
But
it's,
Because it's
it's
like
easier.
maps, and it's like You're going like
Right.
Right.
Depends on
It's
the terrain.
yeah.
2
Yeah.
miles.
If
You're like,
it's mountains, it still could take like 4 hours, but
But
it's
it's
not
longer than
days.
other ones, it sounds like.
right.
Okay.
It's not like a multi-day trek. to
okay,
get to.
well that's good.
I made them little sheets so I could easily see them this time.
There you go.
There you go. You're prepared. Okay, so
I'm unconscious, but out of character. So if anybody went and kind of looked through his notebook, you could still easily see that kind of stuff. So
sounds good. So okay, so what does Thomas play at this point? What's she wanting to do?
May I interject quickly?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So Mashavan comes over to where Toma's resting and kind of sits down and says, "So, how are you doing?"
I think I'm done blowing things up for now. But there are still people out there who I want to help. And I don't think I'm really going to feel right until we've seen this through.
Okay. I just want you to know that I and everyone else here are here for you. We got your back.
Thank you. Thanks for checking in, and thanks for more or less backing my play on Heller, even though it had some consequences.
We'll get back. We'll recover from that. May take Landris a little while, but we'll be okay.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
What are you thinking, Mashavan? You have the key that you found, right?
Right.
What are you thinking about either testing the key out somewhere or keeping it safe somewhere?
For the moment, I think we're gonna go out a little bit, but at some point I'm gonna poke at it, see what I can get from it. You know, maybe something, maybe nothing, but it's worth trying. So we'll see.
Okie doke.
Yeah, please keep it safe. We need something good to have come from this whole expedition.
For sure.
Okie doke. What's Kenneth doing now?
If we can't do more for Laundress, she'll probably try to take care of Toma's injuries. But she's also a bit worried that their actions will have just kind of accelerated the cult of the tree. And so she's also kind of itching to get going, but she doesn't want to leave Laundress unattended.
That does make sense.
She would almost, like, she's considering suggesting the other three see if they can find the next key. Because if they don't get them all, and there's a problem, and they're going to be the last ones holding it, and they won't be safe no matter where they go. They'll be cult of the tree looking for them everywhere, unless they get all the keys and get to the last location. He thinks, anyway. Might not be correct, but
I assume you're expressing this to the group.
yeah, like she'll definitely say that out loud and say like the cult people are gonna really be after us especially after pulling stuff up. At the very least, we need to find the other key, but of course we want to see if we can find where they moved the people to as well. But she would also suggest that if you find the people, maybe come back and let somebody know before doing anything crazy.
For expediency's sake, let's say that Landra starts to regain consciousness, so that that way everybody's kind of all the players and all the characters are kind of in on the conversation.
Good.
Yeah.
I like that.
So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of screaming and like, where am I? Where am I? You know? Then one of the first things he's going to do is make sure Tome is okay, because the last thing he remembers is her like almost not making it and having to be kind of Facebooked into the age, and then
Oh.
fire.
Is that what we call it now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like that.
they changed their name to Meta, so we can use the Facebook
We
term
can
now,
take
right?
That's open,
Like,
yeah.
So he remembers that, and then he remembers fire, and then he remembers cold, and then he remembers ow. And that's about it.
In quick succession.
So yeah, so he's gonna make sure Toma is okay and didn't like die in the explosion too.
Mhm.
So
That's
and then
important.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
And-
when Thomas sees that Landris is awake, she definitely goes over to him and she's trying to play it off like she's actually doing fine, but she definitely like is kind of limping and like half trips at one point. And she's like a little bit guarded at first. She's like,
yeah.
you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to be the last one out. And then she takes a moment. She's like, but thank you. I'm grateful that I did not lose consciousness and get swept out to sea and stung by jellyfish and burned alive. So how are you doing?
Oh, he's
Is
like,
there
oh,
any
is
way
that
I
what
can help?
happened? Oh, is that what happened? Oh, it's kind of all of a blur. Well, yeah, he would, there's never any thanks necessary. Like he's from the, above all else, he's still somebody from the Guild of Maintainers, and safety is paramount for everybody.
Aw.
And he's just, and like, he just, he's not exactly terribly cognitive. There's a lot you could probably suggest Landers could do right now, and his mind's not all there because still just waking up, still trying to figure out what's going on. There's probably a little bit of what's it called? When you get too much smoke in your lungs and it sort of kills off your brain cells for a little bit. Anyway, so he's got some of
Hypoxia?
that probably too.
Yeah.
Maybe hypoxia. I don't remember.
But now that he's conscious, he can get
Yeah.
painkillers because he can ingest them
Yes.
safely. So like
Yeah.
we can do that.
Well, and
There you
he probably like shot up, and because there's probably gauze wrapped loosely, and so he probably sat up too fast and then got a little bit of a lightheadedness too. Like, oh, we're gonna sit back down for a minute. But yeah, he's gonna see how everybody else is doing as well, as much as he can from like a bed too. And yeah, just make sure Toma knows, oh, it's fine, and we'll always make sure that you're taken care of and safe and everything too. It's why I'm here. It's what I'm good at. So
There you go.
there we go.
Okie doke. So, what's your next thing that you guys are doing?
Would it be a bad idea to update the Relima at this point? I am very uncomfortable working with them, but I feel a little bit like we need bodyguards. I also feel like the cult has really crossed some lines here, and that if it's possible, that the enemy of our enemy is our ally
friend.
here. It's our friend. Yeah. And so I'm thinking if we've disrupted this human trafficking route, the cult is going to be scrambling to adapt. And if there's some way we could alert the Relima to that, to kind of keep an eye out, or even get more information from their captive that they took from us, that might not be a bad idea. My only concern is we maybe don't want to tell the Relima that we got this, like why we were on Heller and the fact that we have this key now. I don't know how we want to handle that. But
We definitely said we were going there. I mean, we told the villagers we were going to go there for the missing villagers.
right.
Yeah.
right, okay.
Devlin's the one who gave us the book, so he knows we have the age
Mhm.
because he's in bed with the Relima. So I don't think it
Right.
would be a great surprise that we went to another age to.
We went to another
Face
age
down.
to look for villagers. Unfortunately, an explosion happened. And
We don't know
have to tell them
how.
about the key. You're right. We don't have to tell them about the
Yeah.
key, but we can
Here's
tell
the-
them of the other part.
Right.
Yep.
Because also, if we want, we don't have to say that we were the ones who chose to blow it up. We could frame it as we stumbled into one of their smuggling points and fell afoul of a booby trap.
Yeah, that might
Mhm.
Good job, Celia.
that might
And
really
Landris was totally the guy who triggered it.
Yeah. Time to pull out those deceive rolls, boys.
Okay, so you'll be contacting Adri then?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's smart. Good thinking.
Are you going to be
Okay.
just like sending him a message, or are you going to be setting up a meeting, or?
We'll send them a report. Celia will even write it. The one that you guys are,
Yep, that sounds good.
the one
Okay.
that we've decided
So
on.
I don't know if
Yeah.
we want to have to say that stuff to their faces, because chances are they.
Yeah.
And then who
Like
knows what
you
Landris will
did
say
what?
under the influence, right?
But what if we honestly write it all up?
Man, all
and
those
it's-
jars of clay. Woo!
Look,
Super
we were
creepy.
trying to be detailed and responsible by writing everything up in as detailed a way as we can remember, and then it means we can also show it to Landris beforehand to make sure that
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That-
Yeah, we're all totally on the same page, right?
I
Uh-huh.
come back and I'm
Mhm.
helping you guys to lie. I think this is my job here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Let's
make a roll
second,
necessarily make a roll for
copy it
that.
out for Landris so he can carry it with him so he can remember
Yeah.
what he's supposed
Right. I just have little note cards like
to
it was a booby trap.
What happened? Well, let's see.
Honestly, I stepped
Booby
in there and it
trap,
exploded, so
yeah.
I'm really kind of fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
right.
Unknown
this idea.
source of explosion.
Plus, then we
Yes.
don't have the Relima breathing down our neck
As-
because we're still doing, like, we're updating them. We're doing our due diligence. It's way better than having both of them in the cult of the tree all mad at us.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna, so you guys are gonna send that report. Adri's response is, first, are you, are you okay? Are you in need of protection? Do you need, are you in need of resources?
Hmm.
He'll message back on Celia's D.
Okay, do we want more medical supplies, guys? Or do we want to tell him, no, we've got this in hand?
We need more books. We're running out.
I mean, books and medical supplies would be great. That seems like a pretty safe thing to ask for.
Yeah.
All right.
And we're technically, like, we don't want an armed guard because we don't want them knowing about this age.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But protection in money, maybe. Like, if we ask for protection, it'd be like for, like, the next time we're in the city, kind of a thing.
I think that's
Okay.
good.
Maybe have a Relima escort, even a
Yeah.
shadow escort, just to keep an eye out for the cult of the tree, because we think we might have cheesed them off.
And
Okay.
maybe we can also just ask, if you're able to get any more information about the human trafficking process and where they might fall back to from your captive, like let us know. Like
That's a good idea.
just a nudge.
Like, just say that we're still willing, even though there were injuries, we're still willing to, do what Devlin sent us to do, which is check out all the ages and report sketchiness, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. What exactly what exactly are you requesting, and what are you telling him at this point in response?
Medical
I think-
supplies,
Medical
protection inside Denny.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like when we go, like next time we come to visit Dan Villain, kind of a thing.
Uh-huh.
And then the third thing,
Blank books. 'cause
any
Nancy-
other information based on captive about trafficking.
Uh-huh.
And
Blank books.
like Celia said.
Oh yeah, books. Okay. Please ask Devlin to send us more blank books. No reason.
We go through a lot. We really
Go through
do.
a lot. We could have used that bookbinding facility. If we find another one, we're keeping it.
Wait, bookbinding facility?
That was what was inside the mountain.
And lit
Oh.
on
So the
fire.
villagers were supplying the paper, but they were actually
Yeah.
finding books on the premises.
Yeah.
Okie doke.
Yeah.
All right.
What-
So, he says, he says that he'll get back to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me
So-
ask
What are you up to now?
Well, Amishavan, Tome, and Celia, I think we're going to go somewhere exciting. I don't remember where though.
Well,
And
what if
Tome-
you did Lost Hopes, because it's the shortest trip?
Well,
So
well,
hard on Tommy's
yeah.
leg, and it's just a cemetery, so
Yeah.
maybe it won't be too bad. And
Also-
so got the sonar, which is going to be super
Mhm.
helpful
Yeah, I
for.
do. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so with the cemetery, so remember, because this is the one that's the slight confusion, right? But I think so it's the shortest trip at only 200 and so 60 feet from the link endpoint.
And west of the
But-
Lincoln Point.
Yeah, west/west southwest, but at 200 feet you could probably see it.
Mhm.
It's at a grave, but the other important note is at hand.
Right.
So maybe the grave itself is marked with the hand, or
Okay.
maybe it's one of those hand locks, in which case you want Tome, because Tome
Yes.
can open the locks.
It's true.
So
And the graveyard is on, like, you'll notice if there's a disturbance at a graveyard. So it'll
That's
be
true.
probably pretty quickly apparent whether or
Well,
not
and it's
slaves move
yeah.
through there.
yeah, it's definitely a burial site,
Okay.
a cemetery. And yes, it does clarify west, not west southwest. So yes.
Okay.
So
What do you guys
Right.
think of that? Like, because you wouldn't necessarily be gone long. It seems pretty safe. It's pretty close.
Sure.
A graveyard, you should be able to see if there's people around, living
Yeah.
people.
I think that
I-
seems doable.
I'm in
And
support
again-
of that.
Yeah.
I have one other thought before we go. I don't know if I can do this myself. This might be a task for Mishavan, but
Mhm.
now that we have found one of the keys and we know what they look like, what they're made out of, more or less, would we maybe want to consider making a decoy key based on that one? And when we find the next one, we leave the decoy, because there are potentially 2 other parties out there who are checking up on these keys, and maybe at least one party that's trying to retrieve them all before we do. And
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great way to
Yeah.
cover our tracks.
Plus,
I like it.
now you'll have the resonance factor of that key. So you might be able to find it easier, because you might be able to just, if the keys are all the same
Same
material,
material, yeah.
if they're the same material, you'll be able to adjust your sonar
That's
to
true.
Yeah.
highlight that specific material.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So like whatever supplies we would need
Good idea.
to do that, if we could
Yeah.
just have those supplies on hand or make a
Crafting
decoy
time.
key before we leave, that would be great.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. And that gives us time to review the
Look
notes
anyway,
too.
so-
So while Mishavan is crafting that, the rest of us can.
So the question is, can I do this? Like, I can't make a Nara key. So is it?
What's it made
something-
of? Yeah.
Right. That's the first question. Is like, is it possible?
Okay, now
You can
I'm
make
thinking of
something
like
that-
styrofoam.
You could make something that looks like it. You could duplicate it, but probably not in the particular material. It would probably be a much less strong sort of standard casting material that gets used in engineering.
Okay.
Um,
Because
and I-
most people haven't seen the key and don't even know they exist, according to the cultists.
Right.
Even that guy didn't know about the keys. So it's entirely possible that whoever finds it's going to just assume, oh, it's totes the key.
yeah.
Right.
So, and I definitely want to make it non-functional.
okay.
I don't want to make an exact replica of a key that would actually work if someone found it.
It would slightly defeat the point, yeah.
It's made of gingerbread.
It's made of sugar. But okay. Go ahead and why don't you make a actually. Do you have craft or
I do. Yes.
what level do you have craft? Do you have
A 3.
Yeah, that'd be work. Yeah, go. Just to see if anything goes hideously awry. Roll 3.
All right. Get ready for some rye. I got a 3 even.
Oh, yeah, sure. You can make a cast of you make a cast of it. This is a sort of thing that you do in the engineers all the time because you often have to make custom parts.
Mhm.
The stuff that you have on hand isn't particular isn't like NAR level strong or anything like that, but um, yeah, I mean but it's not gonna fall apart when someone uses it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I definitely want to leave out a key, like an important protrusion or something, so that way it is
It's not
functionally.
just a long, smooth nothing.
Well, yeah. I want it to look interesting but not work.
A little
Okay.
stick that says key.
Yeah, popsicle stick. I like
And
it.
on the back side it says decoy.
Yeah.
Like,
Decoy.
Also, when
Not
our
real.
landlord gave us keys to our place, we have one that fits in the lock. Like, it was clearly part of the set, but I think it was poorly machined because it will fit in the lock. It just won't actually open it, but like it will fit and start to go.
Mhm.
So it could
Mhm.
just be, if you made it
Yeah,
easier to
it's-
just file it
Yeah.
slightly wrong at spots,
Mhm.
so it just
Ex-
won't.
Exactly like that, yes.
Sounds good. Okay, so you've got that. And were there any other preparations you guys were making?
So I'm writing another linking book for them to have.
Uh-huh.
That comes back here.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I should supervise to make sure all the words are right.
But yeah, Kenneth doesn't actually know
it's a
anything
little
about it. So
loopy.
just like, yes. Wait, is that right? Oh, yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Why is the word for hippopotamus in there? I don't understand.
Repeatedly.
Somebody read too
What?
much
Hippos are
American
fun.
Hippos.
Yeah, I would like to believe that because it's Landris's age that he's writing the book for, like he could do this one almost in his sleep.
Mhm.
Because
Probably.
he actually doesn't have to copy this one; he just knows.
Mhm.
So,
Hey, can we
but
revise this
100%,
one
yeah,
to
it would
make
be
like
interesting
this?
to have Kenneth just like, huh, like over his shoulder. Like, are you sure that's right? Like, yes.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not incompetent.
Explains the
Just
jellyfish.
burnt.
That was
That's a
totally your
quote of
fault.
the night.
Okay, so you've got a replacement linking book that comes back here. You've got your duplicate key, Key, not Ki.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so you said you're going to be going to Lost Hopes?
That seems to be the
Cool.
case.
Oh, lost hope seems. I think it's smart when people are injured and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so who is going?
Leah.
And Mashavan.
And Tome?
But I think if Laundress probably isn't ready to.
Yeah, let's leave. it.
No, well, you would have to like try it because he's got that whole first one and last one out now. So
Yeah.
if y'all are going away, he's gonna be trying to come.
Well, V, can you answer this question from the standpoint of game mechanics? Like for Tome and Lenders, what level of consequence are we still suffering and what?
Probably at this point, Laundress has a moderate consequence that's been stabilized. So at the end of this session, it'll turn into a minor one for next session. Tome has a minor that's been stabilized. So
So what if? Sorry, I was like, if what if we all went, but Kenneth says, but Laundress, we're gonna sit at the Lincoln point where you can
And
see
watch.
them. You
Yeah.
can see everybody, but you're not gonna do any heavy lifting.
Yes. He would be okay with as long as everybody's within eyesight. We don't want another incident.
it'll make Laundress feel better. Okay.
Besides,
Yes.
the wasps are probably coming back soon and would like to skip that.
Okay. So about those wasps, I have them totally written in my journal as Cicave does.
Dave does.
Cicave does.
Ow.
I haven't come up with a better name for them yet, but I just saw that going by earlier from last session. Like, oh yeah.
Okie doke. Lost Hopes. So
Yes.
So you link into Lost Hopes. It's a very nice, well, well portioned, well designed, external area, with paths leading in, stone paths leading in several different directions. It's got sort of an Eder feel to it, but it has, the architecture is sort of monochrome, so it's got this sort of, quiet, somber dignity feel everywhere. And so there's paths, stone paths leading to the north in pretty much every direction. And you can see that there, are, various, tombstones, little tombs, mausoleum sorts of things. There's sections with, um, lots of smaller, stones. So, there's obviously some people had a lot of money or were very important, so they had big things. Some people just, just kind of, it's little stones in the ground, that sort of thing like that. Um, there is um, there is sort of a larger monument near the linking point that, talks about, Yavo's grace and, the, the, they're resting now in the perfect age, and, in rock they lived, and now and in rock they remain, which
So
is sort of,
these are Dunny tombs.
Yes.
It sounds like. Yeah. Okay.
Y'all, we linked into Halloween Town.
I was worried that it's like IA. What? No.
No, but it's definitely, somber yet, respectful. It's a place,
Mhm.
it definitely gives that feel of this is a quiet place of reflection. And
Yeah.
you can see, in various directions that there are some people here. In
Oh,
various
that's gonna make
directions,
this more
at
complicated.
various distances, looking at um, different things there. So obviously there's another book from Denis that leads to here than the one you got. That's available to at least some part of the public.
They're visiting graves. Okay.
Yes.
So
Directly
if
to
we
the west is a little bit of more of an ornate area. There is, it's relatively close. And there are, several stones. There are a few statues. There's a small mausoleum at one end of it. And you know, um, there's an elderly couple who are sitting on one of the stone benches quietly.
Oh boy. Hopefully we've put like a clean, non-burned robe on London, so we
Yes.
don't harm anyone. And it's like he's almost dead. We just brought him here just in case.
I would assume he's
Like-
back in his a new set of traveling clothes at some point. That was probably part of getting ready to go.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I think so.
think
I
that
don't look
would
like
make
this
sense.
anymore.
You're
Yeah,
no
too
longer a
bad.
hobo.
No longer
Yeah,
hobo.
too
Yes.
bad.
That's a really great look, though. Like, you really have to show that off at the end.
Yeah.
It's great.
Get up close. Well, towards the end, we'll get you to get up close to the camera.
Yeah. But yeah. So Kiddit said I'm not allowed to leave here. So I'm gonna keep an eye on like the other people and see where they go to link out, because
Oh, yeah.
clearly there's another. If they can link in publicly, there's a place to link out publicly,
Mm-hmm.
and that might be less conspicuous.
Yeah.
Sure. In fact, once you're taking a look around to the south, there is sort of a covered area. I wouldn't quite call it a gazebo, but covered
Right.
area.
Like
And-
another Dellen, like I'm sitting in.
Yeah, kind of like that, except with the sort of harsher, more somber architecture. And you can't quite see from this angle, but that looks like the sort of place that they would put something.
Okay. So we're gonna make a note of that, and then make sure that actually people do leave, and it's not like a chipper shredder booby trap age or something.
Thanks. Thanks
Yeah,
for that
thanks.
horribly ominous implication.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about
Pay
the
no
bone
attention to
collector, and I really didn't want
ripping
to.
sounds in the background.
That was a horrible.
We've all read Book of Tiana. We know what happens at the end.
You know what?
Oh, hi. So what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna start casually strolling towards the west area where we want to go, counting paces in my head. That's what
Mm-hmm.
surveyors do. And I'll, like, since I probably don't have to worry about keeping time or pace as much as somebody else might, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to be inconspicuous. Oh, I'm walking by looking at the graves, and in my head, I'm keeping that 15, 20
Okay.
pace count going.
Might be a little conspicuous to be setting up a sonar detector in the middle of a graveyard.
Right, which is
It
which is
Ooh,
why
gold
we're
building.
gonna start with the pace and visual
Mhm.
inspection.
Okay. So what's Mashavan doing?
Mashavan decides to look appropriately somber and move sort of southwest,
Okay.
like a little bit south, I guess, and then west. So not on the same path as Celia, but in
That way we
some
don't look like we're in concert.
exactly in the same general direction. And he is not counting. He's kind of moving slowly and glancing at graves and being respectful.
Sure. Tome.
I think if Celia is okay with this, I think Tome might tag along with her. Tome has missed Celia on some of the recent expeditions, and also, to be realistic, kind of needs like someone she can lean on occasionally. And so I think she's heading off with Celia. She's also keeping an eye out in like kind of in the back of her mind, trying to figure out whether this would be a place that it could make sense to return with like her father's body at some point.
Makes
Okay.
sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, I like the idea of them walking
Yeah.
together, and that way, that's also the kind of thing you might do, right? Is visit with a friend or
Mhm.
relative. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, especially
think
arm in
Tome-
arm, like then you wouldn't notice that Toma's
Yeah.
or whatever, and then it seems
Yeah.
a little more like supportive and
Mhm.
intimate
So-
setting.
oh
So
yeah, that's
speaking-
making it look less like a physical injury and more like grief.
Yeah.
I like that.
So speaking of people noticing other people, because this is clearly an age with public access, is anybody paying attention to where we linked in at? Because it might not be the traditional link in spot.
Good
No one's
question.
particularly paying attention.
Okay.
It,
What's Q doing?
in a way, like if there was a bench to sit Laundress down on,
Yeah.
she probably would have sat him down, and she would probably sit down like facing the other way, like so that they're like this way,
Back to back?
so that she's kind of checking, so that she can see the link-in point that they just came through. She's looking more north and east. He's looking south and west. I think she would be specifically looking to see if there's anybody skulking about and
Sure.
paying attention to them, because she's a little worried that the calls of the tree might have left their own people some clues, and they might not be. She's hoping they beat them there, but she doesn't know if they're coming, how close they are behind them.
Sure. Do a quick notice roll at 3.
Better than usual, guys. 2, because I got
Woohoo.
pluses and 2 minuses. But last game I moved my notice up to a 2.
Oh,
Good
job.
All the
Yeah.
people you can see seem to be kind of occupied on their own stuff. So. Okay. So Celia and Tome stroll towards the west, and like I said, it's not very far. And there's an older couple who are sitting on one of the benches. And the man and a woman, and the man kind of looks over. He definitely gives Celia this sort of once over, and with a sort of disdainful look on his face. And looks at him and says, "Hello, dear. Are you sure you're in the right place?"
I might be a little turned around, but it's a nice day for a walk.
He's like, "Oh yes, it is. It is. It is. In fact, I think I recognize you. I think I've known your parents."
She looks a little surprised by that.
It's like, and he just got. So yes, people in your family, they wouldn't be in this area. you'd probably want to go towards the east.
Towards
Oh,
the east.
okay, go get him.
Sick 'em.
I
mean-
I'm just waiting for some fucking murder to happen here from someone.
I mean, you do have an aspect that says you want to prove your family's worth.
That's true. Oh,
Oh no.
Seems like a good compel.
It does.
yeah. She looks at him and says, but perhaps I'll be here sometime.
Um,
Open
The-
up a good spot.
the elderly lady sort of, kind of muffles a chuckle, it's like, and he just is like, possibly, but miracles do happen in the Sword universe.
Oh.
And
Ooh.
she just cheerfully says, by Yavo's blessings, and kind of inclines to him and keeps going down the path. In that very bless your heart southern bitch way.
Yep. The southern bless your heart.
Mhm.
Bless your heart. He looks over Toma and goes, "You, my dear, look familiar. Have we met before?"
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, when you were saying this to Celia, I was really worried that Toby was going to be next with getting recognized.
And which her, right?
Yes. I'm guessing this would be probably because she has a wealthy family who might actually have some members buried here. Is there any way I can just rack my brains to remember whether I've ever heard anything about this place, or do I know that any relatives of mine might be buried here? Is there an intelligence check or something I could make to remember this?
I would do they're recalling information that generally comes from research.
Okay.
What's your research?
My research is +2, so it might be worth trying.
Give it let's roll versus a 4.
Okay.
Got this.
Okay, it's just a +2 total.
So just 2 total. I mean,
Yeah.
you know that there are lots of ages like this that are run by the minor guild of burial workers, but this one particular one doesn't ring a bell.
Do you want to invoke an aspect to get up?
You've got your family as an aspect.
I know,
right?
I'm very tempted. I have an aspect I've never used.
You should
which-
then.
Yeah, I have my undercover public figure aspect
Mhm.
here. And I think I will invoke that, and that'll bring me up to a +4 on the research. If I
Okay.
just take a +2. And I think, so I'm trying to remember any connection I might have to this place. I'm also trying to think about any cultural knowledge I might have that would diffuse this person's interest.
Yeah, say something so boring. You Love it.
At a 4, you don't know. I mean, this is a burial age that's considered relatively what's the right word for it?
Scale?
Diverse in terms of class.
Okay.
You know that there's some, there are some very, very, very highly placed, families that, that have things here. But there are also, others usually from, like the archivists and the analysts and that sort of thing. Those are the highly placed people, guilds who come in here. But they also have sectioned off a lot of space for their more general population.
Mm.
I'm zoologists.
No zoologists. No, not a place for the minor guilds. No. But other than that, I mean, it is theoretically possible that you have some, ancestors here, but you don't remember
Mhm.
any in specific.
Okay, well, you did mention archivists, and her parents are both prominent members of the Guild of Archivists.
Mhm.
So I think she's inclined to believe that this older man actually does recognize her a little bit.
Mhm.
And I think I want to do a deceive check. I think I want to do something that would be out of character for the kind of the person they think that I am, and maybe also suggest that I'm actually here because of my connection to Celia, that I'm not here for any because of any family connection that I have.
So you're trying to downplay any possibility of family connection with the
Yeah.
idea of not, not making the connection between you and your parents or your adopted parents.
Yeah.
Okay, doke. Let's go ahead and do that at a 4. Roll at a 4.
But for God, the rolls with these fate dice are so hard.
You can do it. We believe in you.
Yeah, so the roll was a -1 and
Oh,
my
dear.
deceive is a +2, so I got a +1. Yeah.
Is this something you want to spend another fate point on, or?
You said it's a +4. I mean, I guess with the fate point, the best I could do would be to re-roll.
Yeah, it's certainly a possibility, yeah. Or if you can somehow, manage to, pull two different, spend 2 fate points and pull 2 different aspects.
Yeah.
Alternately, can I distract him?
Sure. Go ahead. How are you going to be doing that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Are
But
you going to try to get his goat and get him more focused on you?
yeah, like he's already insulted me.
Do you have provoke at all?
Goodness, Ken, it wasn't there.
Right.
So many
I
good
do not have provoke is the problem. Have for poor, have will.
Well, what's your will?
1.
I would make
But
this
I'm
a will
mad
roll.
now.
Since,
All right.
Its ears start burning, but she doesn't know why.
I'm mad.
Mhm.
He's mean.
Mhm.
So I rolled a 0, so that's a +1.
I would actually put this at a difficulty of 3. He's kind of into it, but you still have to push a little bit. So you might want to find. I mean, you could tag prove your family's worth, spend that fate point you just got,
Yeah.
and make it a success.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So we'll give him something that he's in aspect of enjoying the argument.
Okay.
With and you can use that and since you made a success, you get a free invoke on it, which you could then pass to Tome as a +2 or a reroll on her roll. So that makes it a little easier for if you want to spin one, either reroll or spin one more fate point, you can win. I mean, you can reroll or spin another fate point for a total of +4 and be able to succeed. So that's up to Tome.
Yeah, so Celia is creating a distraction. It seems like this is not going to help change this person's mind about whether or not I look familiar to him, but it would potentially give me a chance to like go duck behind a tombstone or something.
Yeah, honestly, if he's fighting with Celia, you can go take a look.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, I'm a little bit injured here, so I don't know how that affects my abilities, but I'm gonna try a stealth check, I guess.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and give it a stealth check. This isn't going to be very hard because so stealth at a 3.
Okay, well, stealth is a decently good skill for me, so hoping for the best here. Yeah, I got a 3 there, and that's even without the assist from Celia, I guess. I guess what Celia is allowing is giving me the opportunity to do this.
Absolutely. The aspect is giving justification for your actions, which is one of the things aspects do. So you are going to kind of duck away quietly and take a look, continue the search. Well,
yes. I'm just going to hope that I didn't leave much of an impression.
So what is Celia actually doing in terms of what is Celia saying to the guy?
You know what? he went and fucking insulted me
And your
about,
family.
well, your family isn't going to be here. So I'm going to turn around and ask him what his family does to be. Please hold. Please sit down.
Oof.
I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear the yelling in the background.
Oh,
I can hear the cat. Yes.
My cat was morally offended that the door was closed.
oh, yeah. Cats are like that.
Hello, stream.
Oh,
This
there
is
we go.
Oh
Bailey.
my god.
Oh my
Babe.
goodness.
Happy.
You know what? If she's going to scream,
Scratch your belly.
you're going to look at the potato.
Cats are allowed to. They're tated. Uh-huh.
Okay. I apologize for the distraction. There is now a potato. So Celia has decided that he's like, well, your family will be somewhere else, you know? So she's going to go, and what about your family? I suppose they'd be. She strokes her chin, and then instead of looking at all these nice place, tombs nearby that his family probably is at, she points over towards the section where he said her family would be and says, I suppose you'd be farther over that way, wouldn't you? And you're also sitting here to bask in the glory of what you might be able to do.
Oh, that he does not like this at all.
Turns out it's Devlin's brother or something.
So while that discussion is going on, so what is it that you're looking around for, Tome?
Picturing this old man with a cane leaping up his beating her little squirrel over the head. All right. Go ahead, Tome.
So the first thing Tome is going to do is just kind of try to supportively catch Celia's eye and just like spit on one of the tombstones here. Because she's not having this classism and she's very upset. And she feels a little bad for abandoning Celia. But she is going to look around for anything marked with a hand, anything that kind of corresponds to that clue.
I mean, there are. There's a kind of small mausoleum thing. It has no hand symbols or words that say hand on it or anything like that. There are a couple statues.
Okay.
One of them is a statue for One of them is a statue for a former grandmaster of the Guild of Archivists, and he's there with a book, and like he's lecturing, sort of,
Mhm.
you can't really see me in the video, but
With a hand raised. Okay.
yeah, hand.
Is
He's
he
got
in the book? Like,
he's like,
how
I
far in there?
am speaking. There's another from it looks like another Guild of Archivists, at least not necessarily a grandmaster, but a higher up, and she's got she's just in sort of a basic standard pose of I'm standing here, that sort of thing. So, I mean, that's about it.
Is
Okay.
the-
Well, can Tome just look, so there are two statues here, each has two hands. Is the hand that's kind of outstretched pointing anywhere identifiable, or are any of the other hands pointing anywhere?
None of them seem to be really pointing. Like I said, the one with the Archivist Guildmaster is pointing up, but in a sort of
Right.
like aha, I am speaking and making a point.
Right.
While he's reading from his book there. But other than that, I mean, the other one is just they're sort of they're at her side and they're not particularly in any particular position.
Okay. Is the book marked in any way? I mean, I assume it's a stone book that's part of the statue, but is there any kind of engraving in it?
It's a stone statue. There's some sort of gaps between there's like a gap between where he's holding it and the book and in his hand, like there's a little space under it. You can see it, but to get to it, you would have to kind of climb, get something, to climb up a bit on.
Right.
And that would definitely attract attention.
Maybe what we need is like some people who act more like a door than a window between the people sitting on the bench and Tome.
I mean,
Mm.
you all would have noticed that Celia has gotten into a rather animated discussion. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
not
was going to
yelling
say
and screaming, but it's definitely it's definitely tense.
the
Kind
people
of
on
thinking that maybe that might be
bed,
a rescue required.
they recognize the body language of, and like, I think because she knows she's distracting him, she doesn't want to push it into the level of fight where he could like try to call to get her removed if that's a thing. But
Mhm.
it's very much that enjoying baiting him and letting him say something worse and then baiting him again.
Mhm.
I mean, he really is poking at your family. So if if you
True.
were to say gain another fate point, you might decide to push it really hard, and or you
On
could
the
spend a
other
fate point
hand,
and decide to be more decide to be strategic about it.
if I get kicked out and they're all focusing on kicking me out, the rest of you can do things. So what is his response to me saying that his family wouldn't be buried over here either, and who does he think he is?
Okay, let me first. I gave you a fate point for that, for the compel. Um, but he's particularly unhappy about it. He's just like, you know, I will remind you, young person, that you need to have better respect for your elders and for your betters. I have met your parents, and I understand where they fit into the Denis society. And let's just say that I have been looking down on them for quite a long time.
She looks at him. Okay, question. What do I actually know who this guy is?
Um,
I want to know before I say what I'm going to say next.
you do not know who he is, but he definitely looks like somebody who would, just in his manner and in his dress is somebody who is, pretty important and high up. And there's the whole, Denis thing about, you know, elders are smarter and our elders are better and such. But
And what guild is he in?
Hmm?
Is it obvious what guild he's in?
No, he's not wearing anything with like any guild marking at the moment.
I am potentially about to fuck up substantially, guys.
Go for it.
She looks him up and down and goes, "Ah, yes, you know where my parents fit, but you seem to fit back in the days of the Age of Kings."
I should,
Yeah, I just called you a motherfucker.
Wow.
Sorry, my language should be more polite on this stream, but Celia's mad.
Yes. He brings himself to his feet with the use of his cane, and so and he's a little he's older, so he's definitely kind of shrunk a little bit in his age, but it's just like, you dare to disrespect your elders in such in such a juvenile way. And the person who was with him is definitely doing the whole clutch the pearls sort of thing.
Sure.
Well,
Joseph's like, no.
she's just gonna look at him and be like, I'm sure that your age provides you a certain amount of wisdom that has perhaps calcified over time. And I'm sorry that you don't recognize what the younger generation has to offer to our guilds.
Yeah, he's like, you have no idea what I've provided to not only my guild but all of the guilds of Denis, and having and knowing who you are and where you come from, I can definitely tell that you will never ever be anywhere in a position to even match my youngest child's contributions to this society.
And how would you know that? What would you know about contributions? And if they're so great, why haven't I heard of you?
See, and oh man, I was gonna tell you to go after the child thing because clearly he's not a parent because he does not have the patience of a parent.
No, I'm just digging this hole deeper and deeper
Oh,
and
yeah.
deeper.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Would you like
while
to
this is
I
going
know
on,
faster than I'm-
what are the rest of our people doing? So Tomei, you have this what is Tomei doing? What's Tomei doing, and what does Tomei want to do?
Well, I don't know if we want to answer what Tomei actually wants to do. Tomei is definitely in that envisioning different ways of entering this fray, and is also envisioning just trying to be super stealthy and interact with the statue while this distraction is going on. But she does feel a little bit more cautious than usual now, both due to her injury and due to potentially being recognized in association with a pretty memorable altercation. And so I think instead she's going to try to, either with her D or by hand signals, wave over some of the rest of the group. I think she would like a little bit of a like she, as somebody who's good at being sneaky, she recognizes that she really doesn't have much cover here, even though there's a distraction that this one person is engaged in. So she wants to bring over a few more people that could help provide cover while she does weird stuff with the statue.
Or
So-
boost her up.
Mishavin
Yeah.
was heading in that direction anyway. So
There you go.
That's
I'm
true.
probably almost at hand, so to speak.
Is either Kenneth or Landris heading over there?
Oh no. Well, Landers would make a really. You're muted, Landers. I can't hear you at all.
Oh, is that better?
There you go.
Okay. I thought I had unmuted myself, but apparently I didn't. Yeah, I was gonna say to Kenneth, like, well, I'm not allowed to leave, so that looks like your part. But
It does. It does, doesn't it? This will be delicious. But Landers would also make a great, distraction by the like the overpowering apologies he would be offering.
right. Well, so
But
well,
Kenneth
actually,
might go to Celia's rescue and either to help out or pretend to be trying to extricate her from the situation.
well, so
That's
and,
what she hears when she gets there, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like she can tell that people are upset and something has happened, but she doesn't really know what was said.
right.
But
Well,
she'll be
and-
like, "You stay here, like be good."
Okay, so then I stay here, and I'm gonna start. Like you said, there's a sign about Yavo nearby.
Yeah.
Right. Because Landris has been thinking. He's been staring at this Lincoln point, not really paying attention to anything else. Because probably just a mixture of the painkillers and everything. So he's been thinking, and he's been getting off into the weeds, and he's been remembering some of the stuff about the Cult of the Tree people, and they really, really are all about Yavo and trees and all the seed. And so he's gonna start just like looking at this Yavo sign and just trying to find any sort of like the Always Sunny thing where there's like the red strings going everywhere. And it's like
Okay,
a
he's building
conspiracy
a
board.
set of red strings
Yeah.
Oh,
of
yes.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what
he's like
Landris is
looking
doing.
for anything that he could rationally in his drug-addled mind right now piece together as, oh, that's where the key is, and start, like he's a little bit out of it still.
Okay.
And just
So that's what Landris is doing.
Yes.
Okay, so Kenneth and Mishavin kind of get there about the same time, and you hear this increasingly rude conversation of sniping at each other going on, and Tomei is over off to the side, obviously staying out of it, but so who is Mishavin and Kenneth, where exactly are you going there? You said you're going to the conversation?
Yeah, I think she'll go and try to back up Celia, mostly also because she's seen Tomei kind of skirt off to the side and knows Mishavin's there, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, they got this. I can go and make sure that Celia is allowed to leave. Call security.
Okay. So
But,
what's Mashavin
also,
doing?
like, as if Kenneth's gonna miss out on a good fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll get back to Kenneth and Celia in just a sec. What's Mashavin doing?
So Mashavin kind of just innocently walks close to Tome and looks back at the conversation and whispers to her, "What do you need?"
Yeah. So Tome like looks around at like her angles and sight lines, and she's like, thanks for coming over, Mashavin. Like, could you cover this angle and this angle also? Could you please just try to stop me if at any point I am showing signs of jumping into this argument over here? Just
We need an explosion. Everybody has to be distracted. We need another one.
We don't want Toma leaping in and choke.
Okay. So Mashavin will position himself, in the place where she asked, and kind of look on at the argument between Celia and the old man with a vaguely amused expression on his face.
There you go. What exactly is Tomei doing?
Okay. So you said that it's not really possible to get a better look at that gap between the hand and the book.
You would have to climb up there in some way. I mean,
Okay.
you might be able to do it, relatively quickly because everybody is really focused elsewhere.
Okay.
Just
Can
kind
I
of
try
like,
an athletics check for
grab.
that?
Yeah. Quick athletics check.
Okay.
It's not going to be too hard, so it's a 3.
That's
Well,
not too
my
hard for
athletics
some.
is a 3,
So there you go.
but my roll was a -2.
Oh dear.
That limp.
It might be that limp. Yeah.
Can I?
Statue topples over.
Can I say? I don't know. Can I like make an intrusion or a stealth roll, saying that I'm providing like visual blocking? So yeah, cover. Yes, that's what I meant. So that way she can take a little bit longer and have a little bit easier time of it and make an advantage for her.
Another possibility here is, I don't know what your relevant skills are, Mashavin, but you could try to do this instead of me, and I could just, kind of stand with my back to the other people, so hopefully I don't get recognized again, and try to provide.
This is definitely a physical thing, so this is really going to be an athletics sort of thing in terms of actually, getting to it. But if Mashavin makes a good, we'll make it a stealth roll if you've got it.
Okay.
And sort of just kind of providing the sort of I'll stand a little bit further in front. Then you'll be able to, then Tomei will be able to take more time and be able to get up there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd like.
So, and it's not, once again, not too hard to do these, so it's a versus a 3.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens. That is, I got a 3.
There you go.
Woo!
Okay, so you the argument continues, and once again we'll get back to that in a moment. But you manage to kind of get onto the pedestal really quickly and kind of reach over there, and there is something in that gap below the book that's in the person's hand. There is something that's wedged in there.
Wedged in there?
Yeah.
Okay. And I can't really identify what it is without just reaching in, basically.
No, you'd have to reach in and yank at it. I mean, I'm not going to make you roll for it since you've already up there. But
yeah, like Tomei goes to yank on it, and then right before she does, she's like, "Wait, Mashavin, is this okay? Do you mind if I reach in here and grab this thing? This isn't like a terrible idea, right?"
Not the worst one today.
I love Mashavin's perspective.
Yep.
She like gives him a look and waits for a moment, and then she goes for it. And so, yeah, so she's trying to touch and tug out whatever this object is.
She's pulling it out.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
she is.
Okay, no. So, well, before we finish that, let's go back to the argument now. When Kenneth comes up, you know, both you know, both the elderly man and his the woman that was with him are very focused on the argument. You know, the woman is very much sort of aghast and scandalized. Um, and he and Celia are kind of sniping at each other. He sees you come up and it's like you, you're that caterer's daughter, aren't you? Yeah, no, you.
God, this guy knows everyone.
Yeah, I was
How
thinking
does
the
this
same
guy
thing.
know everyone?
Does Kenneth know this guy? Because like he seems to know everybody.
You've seen him around at some high class, sort of events. The sort of things that your parents go to.
Like the such and such gala.
Yeah.
You were eating all the canapes.
Yes.
You were speaking with that intern from such and such guild, weren't you?
It's like you. He's like you. Now, she points to. He goes back to Celia. Now, here is a person who belongs in this section. In this section, this is a good family.
Oh.
This is a family that has given to the need for generations. If here's a person that you would want to aspire to be like.
No. I don't think
Celia points
anybody's
out
role model.
that
Wow. So yeah, Kenneth, like then it'll dawn on her that like, oh, this is a classist problem.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, do you want to say
Right.
something before I dig myself deeper in a hole?
I wonder if Kenneth she didn't get insulted. So I think she'll probably be okay. But I could see her reaching over and putting her hands on like Celia's shoulders and standing beside her and being like, every family has to start from a good place. Like, and I have like, if anything, I should be looking up to Celia. Just because you may not, maybe her family isn't the most prominent, but that doesn't mean that they're not excellent.
And he looks and he goes, well, I would expect such magnanimity from someone of your family. And yeah, you do very and I you do very you reflect your parents very well. I understand your humility, but there are certain realities in our society.
Well, her family's been really good at keeping her extracurriculars under wraps. She's really impressed, like whoever her parents have been paying.
But there are some realities that there are lower stones on the building that the higher stones must stand on, and that's simply the way it is.
Oh, but the lower stones are always stronger than the highest peak. Therefore, without those lower stones, you would just topple into oblivion. Sorry, I'm not there.
Really, though, like any stone builder wouldn't like. I may only be a caterer, but every Dunny knows that every society is built on a cornerstone, and the cornerstone's always on the bottom.
The cornerstones are always on the bottom, and the higher stones stand on top of them. The cornerstones know their places at the bottom.
But without the cornerstone, there would be no place for the higher stones to stand, and it would crumble like, pick an age. Right? Like,
and as we steeped in stone should know, it is at the greatest depths that produce the highest pressure that produce the rarest diamonds and minerals. She says very sharply. Because, I aspire to contribute highly and make my way up in the world, and I believe that makes me a stronger form of Nara than someone who did not have to go through such pressure.
and is clearly through their actions demonstrating why their stone will topple down the pyramid.
Landris is like shouting across the graveyard.
You know, the woman's very much in the sort of like, really? And he's like, see, you have upset my wife. So while this is going on, you can see like as a shot, this argument's going on in the foreground, and in the background there's Mashavin, kind of like, and then Tomei like jumps up real quick and and actually falls off. But they are just they are just too intense on this argument to even notice what's going on behind them. And he's kind of waving his and you've offended my wife. Now your parents. He points at Kenneth. It's like your parents would be appalled at this sort of disrespect for your elders. I'm going to have a long conversation with your parents about this.
Oh, joy.
No wonder he's so pompous. He clearly married up.
Oh!
That's
Oh, that's a
he's
good burn.
pissy.
Is Celia going to say something like that?
See, I wasn't sure if you'd let me say it because it was his idea, but
Oh, man.
yeah, Celia raises an eyebrow and asks, no, she turns to the wife and says, I apologize if I'm stressing you out, she says politely, because the woman has not yet said anything to her, one way or the other.
Mhm.
And then she turns back to him and says, are you perhaps insecure that your position perhaps comes from marriage and not from inherent effort?
He says, like
And
grab.
it's
This is where he,
now, like she thought that was hilarious.
Rachel is bravo. If anybody can see the chat.
Yes.
I am just so deeply concerned that I have pissed off the head of some guild or someone on the 12 and I am going to get mega fired.
We got
So
several
he
guild
gets,
masters angry with us. We gotta collect them all. It's fine.
He's definitely in the, he no longer has words, and just he grabs his wife's hand and looks at you and stomps off towards the gazebo, to the
Lovely
south.
day.
But away from the statue.
your
Yes. And as he moved, this is a camera bit, it's like you've been watching and all these things have been happening in the background. And as he stomps away, there's, Tomei getting up and kind of dusting herself off and with a key in her hand.
So it was a key. Awesome.
Yep. So it is a key, and it looks very similar to. It looks, pretty similar to the one that you found before.
Bonus.
Excellent. Yeah, good point, Landris. I guess since Mashavin is right nearby and has the decoy key, Tomei asks for it, and
Yep.
Great.
I hand it over.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, and you managed to place that pretty quickly, since you know exactly what to do.
Excellent.
Okie doke. And there we go. It's been a while, so I thought maybe it's time to take a short break, bio break and everything.
That would be great.
Okay. It'll be about 5 to 10 that we come back, and we'll see everybody then. Thank you very much. Shara, and we are back from from our little break there, and we're ready to get started again. Hopefully, those of you who are in the channel will let us know if the sound is still good or if I've managed to mess something up in the last 15 minutes, which is always a possibility. Um, but where we were is we had just seen, our lovely friend, the elderly man, stomp off to the gazebo and probably, link out in a huff. Tome has retrieved the key and placed the duplicate back in place. And so, what are we doing now?
So I saw him link out of the goes, no, I'm paying attention to the sign. Never mind.
But you saw him go past you, yeah. So I mean,
Okay.
if you wanted to go
Indeed.
double check,
No, that's okay. I'm paying attention to this wonderful sign.
it's like,
Looking for a key.
wow, look at that.
I'm
Like,
sure the
it's
anger
somewhere.
radiating off the old man caught Landris's attention for a moment at least.
Yeah, for a moment,
Yeah.
like, dude's messed up.
Do I need to apologize for something?
Did anything blow up? No. Okay. Okay. So, the people who are not stoned. So,
Yes.
what are you guys up to?
We should probably think about getting out of here before.
Well, now that we've been spotted, we should probably, and they know who we are, we should probably leave through the Dunny port,
Mhm.
or else they'll be like,
Where did they go?
where did they go?
But of
Yeah.
course, as soon as we go to the Dunny port, there's going to be like more maintainers waiting for us on the other side. And I am not in a position to have a negotiation with maintainers right now.
Well, I mean, essentially, the link out play book from here would probably go to some sort of common library or some sort of library area, since it's
Funeral
an open
home
area.
library.
Yeah. And technically, only a couple of us have to do the thing. Those of us who drew attention to ourselves.
Well, plus,
So-
where are we going to hide the book? Like, there's
Oh,
too many
that's-
people. We can't
So
I
hide the
can't
book
set a
inside of
fire
the
here.
book
Yep.
without like packing it into the mausoleum, which could be weird.
I have a thought.
Hmm.
That we go over there as kind of together, and those that need to be discreet, put a linking book to our place over the link out book that's there, and link out, and those of us that can go normally, just casually grab that book and link it to Denis.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so who needs to be discreet and who doesn't? Who are our groups here?
Launders would attract attention because he's injured.
Because he's Laundress.
He's
But
a
Laundress could be the last. Let's say Laundress could be the last one out again because he could just take the book with him, go out through Dunny. He's,
We
in
have
his
a
maintainer
stone guy
stuff. So
using Dunny then. I don't think
yeah. Well, you're gonna be with me, right? Babysitting me? Oh no, you got in trouble. Oh right.
which means I should go through Dunny because then I can show up.
Yeah.
Like, we were totes there for real reasons.
And I just see Kiddet like grabbing letter. Okay, all right. When we get through, my parents sent you to babysit me. That's the story. Like, what? This is doing what? What is going on? Okay.
Okay,
I
so
like this idea.
who is linking through with which book? That's the question.
Tome is definitely not linking through the main book, given the type of people who come here. She wants to find a separate way out.
Okay,
she
so
could use some help.
you'll teleport back to the Laundress age then.
Okay.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Lee is going to the main book.
Okay, and Kent will probably go through the main book.
Mishavan doesn't need to go either way. He was relatively unnoticed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is Mishavan going to go through the main book and take the responsibility of getting the other book, bringing the other book?
Well, I
think-
thought Landris was bringing it when he came through the main book.
But yeah, Laundress is a little bit out of it, so.
It's true, but I have to be the last one out.
That's true.
Are you gonna make an argument about it?
I might be a compel. I don't know. I have to be the last one out.
That
He's very stoned.
But, I mean,
has to protect everybody.
It's a approved book back to Dunny that lots of people are using. no matter what, Laundress is not going to be the last one out.
That's
because
true. There are
there's
other people here.
in the age.
Oh my god, I'm stuck here forever, everybody.
No, I wouldn't worry about it
Somebody-
for this one then.
So,
He
Toma, you
says
gotta
so,
burn
he's
the
like,
book on the
"Everybody
other
needs
side.
to leave."
But yeah, I don't think it's much of an issue then. So
I think Mishavan will be the last one out.
and teleport, and link
Well, so
Laundress
Toma's
through.
the only one using the Laundress book, right?
Seems like it.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, for some
then
reason I
we
thought
could just-
Laundress was also going to use the Laundress book, and it was just going to be me and
I would
Kenneth.
like Kenneth would have recommended Laundress go back to base.
Yeah, so that
Yes.
he can
His
rest more.
injuries, we don't want to attract attention, especially from
Right.
the maintainers. Do you think
Right,
he'd go with
even-
that?
That makes
Even if
sense.
Laundress changed clothes. He probably
He
still
wants to
has
continue
invisible
to make a
burn
good
mark.
impression on the other maintainers, right? And when he's not at his best, he really shouldn't be.
That's
putting
true. He
himself
is
out
looking.
there.
He is looking to atone as well. Oh man.
So
Mm.
maybe wait till he's at his best, and then he can.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay, so
Maybe. Yes, Laundress.
Yep. So Laundress will go through to Laundress's age with
Okay.
Tome,
okay, so Toma
but
and
somebody else
Laundress are
has to
there.
make sure this book doesn't get left behind.
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
This
Mishavan,
is totally an illegal
Responsible.
age, and
Yeah.
we'll all go
Mishavan
down, man.
will grab the book
Mhm.
and then go through the main Denis book
Yeah.
and just casually walk off.
Okay, okay. So what are Celia and Kenneth going to do when they get into the main? Get back to Didi.
Right. Well, we have to meet up with Mishavan in order to get back. 'Cause we don't. I don't. Do we all have? I don't think we all have a spare book
yeah.
to base,
Mm-mm.
right?
No, you'd have to go
no.
back to the facility
have
in
to-
Didi.
Yeah. So we have to go to
Okay.
Denny, and then we'd have to meet up with Mishavan somewhere so we can all go
Yeah,
to Laundress's age. So probably our office.
I think
Yeah.
that would be good.
Mhm.
Yes.
Make our way to the city through the city.
yeah.
Okay,
Should-
okay. So Toma
we stop
and
off and talk to
Laundress are
them?
back in Laundress's age. Are you guys
Yes.
going to do anything specific, or are you just going to wait until everybody meets up again?
I mean, she's got a limp, and I'm kind of loopy, so
So
I
good.
hope nothing is going on.
yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that Tommy might do is preemptively start writing a letter home to her parents that she's not going to send unless she needs to, but it's kind of going to be a little like letter home from her internship, talking about the field trip that they took to the cemetery to visit some of their honored ancestors.
Oh, there you go.
I like
Yeah.
it. Did
Okay.
we make use of us being in Denny to stop by Devlin's and get extra books? I know we haven't heard from Adri.
Yeah, that's a good point. If there's anything else we want to pick up, either from our
Like med supplies. and stuff like that,
benefactors,
right?
if they're ready, yeah, we could always text them asking if that's ready. And even if it's not, if you and I want to get any of our like guild resource stuff,
hmm
Because while we're in the city, might as well, right?
I will send my parents an apologetic phone call going, "Hey, I pissed off a guy today. Sorry about that."
Some old dude, I don't know.
It was the old
And
dude.
I'll message Mishavan that we'll meet him at our office.
Uh-huh.
Because that's where everybody would be sending stuff, right? Because technically we're still working out of there.
hmm
Mhm.
So that's probably where we should be seen to be going.
So when y'all left, was the old man speaking to anybody about you?
Now he
He's still there.
no, he was gone. He
Okay.
obviously had linked through. So,
But on the other side.
on the other side,
Yeah,
no,
was
he was
on
not
the other
there.
side, yeah. Like waiting for like a force of maintainers to come and try and arrest Kenneth and Solia for harassing the elderly or something like that.
Okay, doke. So, is there anything special that Kenneth and Celia are gonna get? If not, we'll just kind of fast forward to meeting at the office.
Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm not getting arrested, but if I'm not, awesome.
Perfect.
So who gets to the office first? Probably Mishavan, right?
Yes, likely.
Okay. So when you start, you stroll up on the office and you turn the corner and you see that there is Tellen. at the
Oh,
door.
shit.
Bam, bam, bam. Laundress. Bam. I know you're in there.
Somebody
Open the
forgot to check the
door.
security camera.
Right, my D's broken, guys.
Okay.
Crazy.
This is a good opportunity for Mashavan to ask for a replacement D.
I'm tempted to just turn around.
Before or after he sees you.
Um, all right. I
Hmm.
okay, so here's what I do. I get let's see, I would have left the D back in the age. Okay, so I walk up to Talon and
Just open
say,
the door.
like, just walk up and say, "Excuse me,"
He's like, you.
and start unlocking, all 5 or 6 locks that are on the door.
So like,
Taking my time as normal.
where's Laundress? Is he in here?
No.
Sallow doing a follow-up report.
I need to talk to him. He hasn't been responding to his messages at all.
Oh, yeah, I need to fix that.
What do you mean?
Well, I need to his device, his D, it got broken, and I haven't gotten a chance to fix it yet.
He broke his communicator. What is that? What has he done now?
It was a piece of crap to begin with.
Right, and Mashavan starts on this rant, like, when we first got these, I told you that they were terrible workmanship. I've built better in my lab when I was designing the things in the first place.
I love
And
the
just
idea
go-
that you're just snowing him with technical details. Like you just start
Exactly.
off with, well, maybe if you weren't using the 8 nanometer component, but instead you were using the 5 nanometer for this, then we might not have had this problem with the quantum instability. But if you consider the fact that
Exactly.
Dylan's like
And-
Blaze.
and just go on and on about everything that should have been better about what he provided us.
I think we were in Cyan, right? So we
Yeah,
can
it's totally plausible that Laundress was doing a follow-up report on Sallow.
we can just say that an exploding rock killed it, right?
Yeah.
It's burned.
Well, but there were no murder racks on Sallow.
Oh,
Yeah, and Dylan doesn't know about our dealings with Evelyn.
Our extracurriculars.
Yes. So yeah, tell him listens and just like, and it's very obvious, like he's gotten lost in the. All right, fine. Just have Laundress contact me. I have questions about his report.
Uh-oh.
Oh, y'all, I'm stoned.
And he turns and stomps off.
You want to tell us what those concerns are so we can address that?
No, I don't want to know.
I mean, you can, Kenneth and Asalia arrive as Talon stomps off.
Is he even going to stop and say hello, or is he
Nah.
just going to like blast past us?
It's just gonna blast past you.
Like,
Grumble,
okay.
grumble, grumble.
He doesn't look yeah, he doesn't look happy. Maybe we should have proofread that report.
I did succeed at a cost on it, to be fair.
Oh yeah.
That is true.
All right.
I'm certain there were numerous typos and some ineffectual information.
Right,
Our
so I,
at Sala, we found no flying rabbits. Incorrect. We were very disappointed. I mean,
Our tests trying to discover flying raccoons were inconclusive.
So I guess I finish unlocking the door and let the 3 of us in.
Uh-huh.
we need a way to make things look like we're actually spend time here. Maybe, like one of those timers and lights come on, you know? Like, oh, we're
So-
totally home.
So did we ever fix the hole?
I think I did some patching.
Yeah, there's
Like,
temporary stuff up there.
Put
You
a
know,
Oh,
board
okay.
across it or something.
there'd probably need someone from the Guild of Stonemasons to come by to to properly fix it up. But it's
Yeah. You should have mentioned that. And do you see the building you gave us? It's already collapsed in on itself once. It's a safety hazard.
okay. So what? The three they're in the office. What are you doing?
Look around in case there's any stuff we need to pick up. Like, I know that Celia doesn't always have all her stuff on her.
Okay.
So probably just a quick inventory of my supplies. Maybe I sit down some extra cartography stuff and then grab that before heading over.
Okay.
It's gonna light the oven, like light the stove up, so that there's some smoke and the grate is warm. So when they leave, it's like, oh, you just missed us.
Oh, that's a good idea. Actually, make a
If
snack.
anybody was around, like she'll probably, and they probably don't have a proper oven yet on the new age, so she might just like bake up something fresh and hot for everybody because everyone seems to have had a pretty rotten day.
Sure.
So
That
maybe
seems
she'll
good.
try to make like Tony comfort food or something.
There you
to
go.
bring
Danitos.
with. Yeah, Danitos, you know, mac and cheese. I
A,
don't know.
a burrito.
Burrito. Donny burrito.
Yep.
Whatever the chicken nuggets are.
Okay. If you guys are just going to be collecting some resources and such, and then we can go forward to maybe you guys link all back to Laundress's age and regroup.
Mhm.
I think that's correct.
Okie doke. Okay, so you guys you are relaxing there. Laundress is probably a little bit more clear-headed now.
Yeah.
Probably could is still a little bit in pain, obviously, but the nuggets. Yep. And so yeah, so they link on in, and they've got got some more supplies and such. So go ahead.
Vishavan says to Landris, "So Tellen was looking for you. He left
Oh
some
no.
he left some
Laundress
test
was
marks on
having
the
an
door."
okay day. Laundress was having an okay day. Oh no. Like, and then he goes instinctually to like check his D, and then only then realizes he doesn't have it anymore. He's like, oh no. It just starts panicked looking around.
I lost my deed. It's like
Um,
So far.
so what can we do anything to get you in contact with Tellen?
Yeah, he would need to use somebody else's D, so he'd probably like, yes, can I borrow yours for a minute? And
read
Send
his
a very-
messages.
send a very lengthy apology about the lack of communication, and that due to some forced, unexpectedly required impromptu first aid classes, he has been out of communication for the last little bit. And if he needs to get in contact with him until his D is adequately repaired or replaced, to go through Mishavan, because Mishavan, is the one
Let's
right
rather
there.
fix things.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Sure.
And then I'm sure that's going to make him wonderfully more irritated because of his last interaction with Mishavan.
Mhm.
Yeah, eventually he'll give back with responses. We're going to have a discussion about your how you treat maintain your equipment. And I'm
Oh no.
I would like to discuss some issues with your report. Please come by my office tomorrow.
All right, he's coming by the office, and Mishavan, I need something that I can show to him that is going to prove that it was not my fault that the D exploded. Something within Sallow, because that's the only place we're allowed to go.
But what did he treat? Did they find the body?
No, the body is here at Landris's age.
Right.
Like
So how, what did
something
he, what,
like
what,
so-
maintainer
maybe-
equipment was mistreated, is what I'm
The
trying to say.
D.
Yeah.
The
that's
D.
it.
The D, gotcha.
Yeah. Maybe the like sand conducts electricity at a certain frequency, and they were not weather protected. I'm trying to like technobabble in
So,
a bad technobabble way.
While
So
he's
what-
doing this, Mashavan is just staring at him and then grabs a rock and smashes it.
But see, that's my fault for not treating it properly. We need something that happens like naturally.
Yes, a rock hit it.
And I love that Mashavan would know well enough just the exact spot to hit it to break it. So
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm. I hear you, buddy.
No,
I hear you.
and
Smack.
now and then he's gonna go to Kinnit because Kinnit's the first aid person, and he's gonna be like, Kinnit, I need a plausible explanation for all of these injuries that does not involve fire, an ocean, or jellyfish. We need things that are plausible within Sallow.
Maybe we should just look at using some makeup. It's not gonna happen.
I can't remember what Sallow's climate was off the top.
It's
of
a
my head.
desert. It's a
The
desert.
fields. No,
Well, it's the fields.
Sallow is the fields
Oh
with
yeah,
the
excuse me.
trees that are only on top of the hills, but there's no water
Right.
anywhere.
It's Iowa with palm
So there
trees.
Yeah.
There it is.
So you
Maybe
can't.
we can say it was like severe sunburn because you were like trying to like
I mean, he could have just fallen
map
off a
out
tree.
like the
Yeah.
solar or whatever
Yeah.
of the age.
Falling out of a tree would produce some burn damage, and the
Mhm.
jellyfish, like with skin abrasion, you know what I mean? Like if you're willing to like slightly sand down your wounds, then it just looks like abrasive scrapes.
Or we could say
Get
that
it?
you found out that
Get
there's a
it?
plant
As soon as-
that has toxic sap, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going to put that in your next report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There's
then
a
you can
plant in
just like
Florida that
pick a
burns
plant,
people.
and then everyone will avoid it
Right.
because
I
no one
just-
wants to get burned, so no one will test it. It'll be great.
I just imagine Celia like saying that like Kinnit and Sia both like confabbing on this while Andrews is there. Like maybe we could sand down your room. Just Elandris' eyes just slowly getting wider and wider. Like oh god.
200 grit should work. You know, like,
If you
you're
fell off a
right,
tree, it
falling
would
out
look
of
more
a
like
tree would be a good
it would
one.
have to be impact. Let's hit him a few times.
Oh
Hold still, Laundress.
the impact.
Gotta be in the right spot.
The impact, like I'm certain part of Laundress's issue is he's concussed right now because going down these tunnels to get out to the ocean, you know he hit a few rocks on the way.
Poor buddy. Yeah, blood of a tree, got knocked out, got sunburned.
Yes. So Laundress
not
is
bad.
gonna like look back at the report as like so after he's got the engineering side of it and the medical side sorted for like those stories, then he's gonna go look at his report and figure out what could possibly be the issue.
And actually, you should have Celia read it too, because Celia
Yeah,
is a good
Celia.
report writer.
Yes,
She should
we'll,
be
we'll pass
backing
it
you up
around.
on
We'll
that.
pass it around the group.
And then we
That's
can
fair.
try to figure out,
Yeah.
you know, what might be lacking or what might have been
Yes.
talent.
What's wrong? There's an inaccuracy, he said.
Because if we have a, you know, if you already have an update, it shows that, you know,
Also, if he knows there's an inaccuracy, why the heck were we the ones writing the report?
A good point.
I mean, he
Did say
didn't
there was
say
an
he knows there were
inaccuracy or
actually. He just
that
said he wanted
had
to
a
talk about it.
concern? Yeah.
I feel like with Telling, it could literally just be that the formatting was off or something.
I wanted
That's
a
true.
0.76 margin on the left.
You
This is
didn't
the-
use the right type of citations.
This
Yes,
is,
exactly.
yeah, I was going to say this is the professor
no
who tells you to
comment.
cite your sources, but doesn't tell you if they want it cited APA, MLA, or Chicago. So you have a 1 in 3 chance of guessing right.
Yeah. And then you didn't make any citations anyway, but still they know you've chosen the wrong one. You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
So then, yeah. So Landris will be preparing for tomorrow's meeting because that'll be fun.
Fun. In the meantime, we have 2 more ages to plan for.
It's true. Now, in this session, we've only got about 15 more minutes, but if
Yes.
we want to, kind of discuss, what you guys want to do for your next plan of action. We can, we can do the in character stuff for that.
So we have Ishna and Dunny as the last two places to go.
Oh, is that it?
Yes,
Okay.
that's it. Because Dunny is the second longest distance, but it's on the Great Zero.
Mhm.
But we also don't know what we're looking for when we get there. Because the two other clues tied to one instead of Dunny. That's okay. And Ishna is only 2 miles away. And looking at it, I don't think Ishna is actually going to be that rough, because the other spot says Ishna is just a barren landscape with an amphitheater. So we're going to walk 2 miles in the direction. And
So
Some-
should we like try to go there first and have all the keys and then use Laundress's meeting with Kellen as a cover for being in the city proper?
It's an interesting idea.
Do we still have time in the day for that?
Like he didn't say like tomorrow morning or anything, did he?
you said tomorrow. I don't know what that
Tomorrow.
means.
So if like we went to Ishna in the morning and then like rolled into Dunny in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a great way to get him in a good mood.
So it's at the center stone within the
Yeah.
amphitheater as well. But
True.
Right.
Okay.
so
Yeah. Okay,
but
so
y'all could
Kellen's
also
in the way.
be at Ishna while I'm dealing with Tellen.
I
But
guess as long as-
I'd have to trust I'd have to trust one of y'all with the Licky book. Well, Mashavan's got one now, so there we go.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And then we have to hope that there aren't too many repercussions from our run in with, the illustrious potentate there.
Yes.
Good name there. The illustrious potentate.
I love that song.
That's a great song, yeah.
Dang it, Koa, this ear's Bubba.
Yes. Yes.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But yeah, we can also gotta try to get a new D out of Helen
Yeah.
and hopefully get our stuff from Adri if we haven't totally burned all our Rillima bridges.
So yeah, that is definitely something. So when I'm at Tellen's, I'm going to make sure I impress upon him that all the faults with the D and how it was not Laundress's fault. It was just natural causes and everything, and rattle off whatever technobabble Mashavan has given me to rattle off properly, and hopefully irritate
Cross
Tellen enough.
either and
Yeah. He's like, hold on, I've got a report.
Yes,
from
and
Mashavan.
hopefully, yeah, give him another like 500-page report on why the D failed, and
Definitely.
irritate him enough that he gives us a key so that Mashavan will shut up.
Ooh.
You know what? Seems legit.
there we go.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
Because if anybody,
isn't that in Tellen's best interest?
it really
not have
is,
to deal with
because, well, and also remember, I irritate Tellen a lot as well. So if I have a thing from Mashavan that's just like, here is all the technical data, have fun. Here is every
That would be
reason why
helpful.
the D failed that's not my fault, and you can go through that before you punish me. And then also irritate him myself. Oh, it's I think all we then needed is just another random intern to show up out of nowhere, and it'll be like the trifecta of getting him really mad.
There you go.
And just
I think
done with us.
it would be really good if Mashavan would write that, because at this point, I don't think any of us really want to see Laundress get pulled off the project,
Yeah.
right?
That is
Like,
true.
We want to bust our butt to keep him here.
He's been like the one who keeps everybody together. Yeah, he may freak out a lot and might need some extra help, but we would
No,
be
but he's
toast
our
in a
friend
lot
and
of
we need
cases
him.
without Laundress, and he knows too much too. Like, I don't actually really want Laundress out of our sight in case he gets snagged by one of the Cult of the Tree people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
think Laundress should go alone to this meeting.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Uh-huh.
would volunteer, or unless Mashavan wants to go and rail on the tent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That does sound fun.
Alright.
Yeah.
So that's an option. Is I don't at this point. Kenneth is also getting a little neurotic and not. He doesn't think anyone should go anywhere by themselves.
Oh, I'm rubbing off on people.
You know,
Safety first.
if Kenneth and Mashavan and both want to go with Andres, then Celia and Toma wouldn't be alone because they'd be together.
Yeah, like Kenneth doesn't really care. It'd be either one. Like nobody's going anywhere by themselves. So she's the float.
Right.
Depends on what Mashavan mood is. If he wants to really impress and try to get get some keys out of this tight-fisted guildmaster.
Yeah, I think that's worth trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
then would be Kenneth, Toma, and Celia making a run to the amphitheater. That'll be good.
Sounds great.
So yeah, at
That's
the
where we'll
very
start
least, they
next
could
time.
do some. Yeah, at least the very least they could do some cartography and like get everything plotted out there.
Dun, dun, dun. As we circle back to full circle back to the cartography concept.
Yeah. Ooh.
There we go. But so that's what we'll start next week. A few details. Toma, your wounds will be completely healed by that point. You will no longer have the minor consequence. You'll have no consequences.
I'm hesitant to remind you that it was actually a moderate consequence, according to my note.
Was it? I mean,
You can go with
comparative.
lighter there.
I'm not going to worry about that one too much because it was comparative. But yeah, we'll have it that one. Laundress, however, is more significant. So, but
Yup.
you'll still. I mean, by the next session, in the next session, you'll still be. You'll have a minor consequence for the rest of that
Right.
session. And I'm going to say that after that, assuming nothing else happens, that that after next
something.
session that you'll be clear. The rules are a little more specific in terms of some of these things, but I think this feels a little bit better narratively, so I'm going to go with it.
Okay. All right.
Once again, highlighting the golden rule of fate, which is don't let the rules get in the way of doing what's best for the session, for the narrative. So,
Correct.
so look at that, brought it around and education and all at the same time. Okie doke. So, everybody who's out there in the chat and who's listening, I just want to remind you that from now on we'll be doing the first Sundays instead of the first Saturdays. So that means our next session will be January 2nd. The time remains the same. It'll be 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time. So adjust your calendars or such for that. And then also we'll be continuing relatively regularly the Tuesday streams as well. Thank you guys for coming to be here. Thanks, of course, to all of the players for having a really interesting and fun game today. I'm really interested to see what happens in the next session. So, thank you very much. Remember, if you like what we do, we have Patreon. Give us money, and we can do more. And if you're not going to give us money, give Cyan money. So that's how it is.
There's new holiday products out now.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, it's true. There's a bunch of stuff like that. And keep an eye out for the more of the Lexember and lore things coming out from the lore team this month.
Yeah.
So, thanks a lot, and everybody have a great holidays, whichever ones that you do or do not celebrate.
Yes.
All right, Shara.
Sure.